their leadership is just rapidly going. Everybody that seems to want to be a leader, they end up dead. And it's an amazing thing that's taking place before your eyes, because for 47 years...
Wait, did you catch the ice in his voice there? He's basically telling the Iranian regime that the job of supreme leader has a shorter shelf life than a carton of milk. This isn't just rhetoric. It's a direct warning that the old rules of engagement are officially dead and buried.
I just looked back over the last 24 hours of the operation compared to where we were at start. Ballistic missile attacks have decreased by 90% since day one. Drone attacks have decreased by 83% since day one. Having said this, we remain vigilant. Our strikes against the Iranian Navy have intensified. You may have heard the president say just a little while ago that we have sunk or destroyed 24 ships. That was true at the moment. We're now up over 30 ships. And in just the last few hours, we hit an Iranian drone carrier ship, roughly the size of a World War II aircraft carrier. And as we speak, it's on.
Look at those numbers. A 90% drop in ballistic missile attacks in just a few days. That is absolute air supremacy in action. But the real kicker is what Admiral Cooper said at the end about that Iranian drone carrier. Think about the scale here. We're talking about a vessel the size of a World War II aircraft carrier currently sitting in the water as a burning wreck. When you sink 30 ships and take out their primary platform for projecting power over the strait, the war changes instantly. You can tell by the Admiral's tone that they aren't just making progress. They are systematically erasing Iran's naval capability before the weekend is even over. It's a surgical dismantling of a regional power's entire maritime strategy, and it's happening in real time while the rest of the world is still trying to process the initial strikes. This is the shock and awe everyone was whispering about.
Senator.
I've spoken with the president already today about Texas, and I'm certainly hopeful. I think, as probably you know, Martha, I've made no secret of the fact that I hope the president will endorse John Cornyn. He is an incredibly effective senator for the state of Texas, a strong conservative voice here in the United States Senate, and represents by far our very best hope of making sure that Texas stays.
Watch John Thune's face very closely during this exchange. He looks like a man who just realized he's been backed into a corner by a master negotiator. Trump is essentially using the Texas Senate endorsement as a massive political lever to force the Save America Act onto the floor. It's a classic deal of the century move. If Thune wants his preferred candidate, Cornyn, to survive that runoff, he has to play ball on the filibuster. You can see the establishment gears grinding here. They spent $100 million trying to bury Ken Paxton, and yet Paxton is sitting there tied at 41%, willing to sacrifice his own career just to get this bill passed. It puts the Senate leadership in an impossible position. Either they pass the most restrictive voting and social bill in decades, or they lose control of one of the most important red seats in the country. It's total political checkmate.
So this is madness, voter ID. It's not about voter ID. The SAVE Act's not about that. It's about registration. It's about proving your citizenship with a passport. Not everyone has a passport. If you, I don't know where you know where your birth certificate is? I lost that at 7. I mean, I don't even know where to begin to get it back. So these guys are not screwing.
This clip is pure gold. Listen to the desperation in that argument. I lost my birth certificate at 7 years old? That's the hill they're choosing to die on to oppose citizenship verification? It really highlights the massive cultural divide this Save America Act is exposing. While one side is talking about national security and the integrity of the ballot box, the other is panicking over the logistics of finding a passport. It's a fascinating look at how political messaging can shift from high-level policy to, I don't know where my papers are, in about 5 seconds. The irony here is that by reacting this way, they are actually feeding right into the narrative that the bill's supporters want to see. It makes the opposition look disorganized and highlights exactly why Trump is pushing so hard for these specific registration requirements. It's a perfect example of how a technical bill can trigger a total emotional meltdown on national television.
Right here, these are the Chagos Islands, right now owned by the United Kingdom. And America, the United States of America, with your tax dollars, has a very important military base on the Chagos Islands, on an island called Diego Garcia.
Take a look at this map, because this tiny speck in the Indian Ocean is currently the most important piece of real estate on the planet. Diego Garcia is often called the unsinkable aircraft carrier, and for the first week of this conflict, it was off limits. Imagine those B-2 stealth bombers having to fly 36 hours straight from the US mainland just to drop a single payload. That's an insane logistical burden. But now that the UK has reversed course and opened up the base, the surge Pete Hegseth mentioned is going to be devastating. We're moving from air superiority to total air supremacy. When those B-2s start flying out of Diego Garcia, the transit time to Tehran drops to almost nothing. It means they can maintain a constant, invisible presence over Iranian airspace 24/7. This logistical shift is the quiet signal that the big one is imminent. The UK finally folding on this military base access is the final piece of the puzzle for a full-scale campaign.
Years we were pushed around, and we shouldn't have been. And I think I can say, and you see it as well as I do, you see the tremendous progress that's being made. Their missiles are being wiped out rapidly. Their launchers are being wiped out. They're attacking.
We're ending where we started, with the unconditional surrender demand. Trump isn't looking for a nuclear deal 2.0 or a temporary ceasefire. He's talking about a total economic and political reset for Iran. When he says, "Make Iran great again," he's signaling to the Iranian people that the target is the regime, not the country itself. He's promising a future of being bigger, better, and stronger, but only after the current leadership is completely removed from the equation. It's a high-stakes psychological play designed to cause a collapse from within while the military pressure builds from without. You're watching the ultimate art of the deal applied to global warfare. Maximum pressure combined with a golden bridge for whoever is left standing after the dust clears. The oil prices hitting a 29-month high tells you the markets believe he's serious. This is the end game. This situation is moving fast. If you want to stay ahead of the next strike, make sure you're subscribed. Catch you in the next one.